My lovely hair. Oh, let's see who comes on tonight. Oh, goodness gracious, great balls of fire. There's one. Well, good evening, Mr. Mike. How the heck are you? You breathing? Hello, Mr. Sam T. Welcome to the chat room. Although I'm usually the one doing the chatting, you guys are doing the typing. Wow, got 5 of you all at one time. Check that out. Barely, huh? Well, that's better than not at all, I guess. I tell you what, the hits just keep coming. Seems like I can't get away from this month. I thought it was an April Fool's joke. I just did my taxes. And of course I owe. Man, it's been an expensive 30 days. I'm ready for it to be over, I can tell you that. Ready to start getting back on the plus side of things. Mm. You know, usually I use TurboTax when I do my taxes. And the last couple of times, it's been like $39 or $59 or something like that. Well, the price to do them now online and the file is double that. Well, yeah, on mine, Mike, state of Florida doesn't have income tax, so um, you don't have state taxes, which that could be good in a way, but it could be bad too. Um, but anyway, yeah, it sucked nonetheless. I can't, like I said, I can't get away from it. It just seems like just these big bills keep piling in here, and my stash is going away rather fast. Pretty soon, I'm going to be the point where I don't have any stash, and I don't like that idea. Anywho, done with the rant for now. So I'm sure y'all have been watching the latest uh, informative deal on 45, and yeah, it's a mess. It is a total mess. I really think this is going to backfire on them. I really do. But you know, strictly my opinions, obviously, but uh, it's not going to be good. I'd say they just need to take and have something. Just need to wipe the slate clean and start over. You know. Oh goodness, I am tired. I'd say I need to sleep in tomorrow, but I need to go to church in the morning. So it's Easter Sunday. I do believe that's correct. I do believe. I do believe. Oh no, it's next Sunday. Still need to go nonetheless. What's up, Brian? Oh Oh, goodness. Sorry to sneeze in your old ear. But that was a rough one on the eardrums. Probably rattled a few phones, too. So I got this 2019 Silverado, new body style in my at the shop right now that I'm working on. This thing come up. He said when he got to the shop, it just kind of quit moving, and I was like, okay. So I get this thing and I get it in the shop, and the freaking transmission pump is just screaming all to beat heck, and so I knew it was going to need repair and or replacement. And the thing's just out of powertrain warranty, and the guy absolutely loves the truck, and it shows. I mean, this thing is black, and he takes really good care of it. But then he said he also was saying that the engine's making noise. It's tapping real loud. And at idle, you don't hear nothing, but you take it up to about 2 grand, starts tapping, and of course it gets louder the higher up in RPM, and it's kind of a loud tinging noise. And I told Doughboy, I says, you know what that sounds like to me is a lifter that's going bad, um, or you got a roller or something, or a cam lobe that's jacked up. So lo and behold, they finally left me alone at work today, and I got to get this thing tore down. It's a 5.3, just for reference. It is a direct injected engine. Anyway, I get this thing apart and pull the lifters out of it, and sure enough, it's got a failed lifter. And to get this, it's on a non-AFM cylinder, which I don't know if you all know about the history of the GM stuff, but seems like the lifters are failing on the AFM cylinders, which are active fuel management. Those are the ones that shut off when it's commanded. And sure enough, I pull it out, and number 5 cylinder on the looks like the exhaust side, if I remember right, the lifter's just chewed up, and so it's got a couple of spots where the rollers froze up in there, and it let me get you a picture here where it was skating over the top of the camshaft. Here's, I don't know how well y'all be able to see that, but if you get the camera to focus in here, it may be too bright to be able to see it, but there you go. You can see a little bit of it. It's pretty bad. But yeah, it looks like somebody took and dragged this thing across the asphalt parking lot. I mean, it's flat chewed up, and I know the cam lobe's going to be done on it too. So I get to price this old boy a cam and lifters, and he's already paid for the transmission, and it's on order. Of course, it's back ordered because it's got a tech amendment. I think they might have found one though, but guys, I'm going to tell you, it's getting real hard to get parts. Oh yeah, the block's fine, Mike. And this thing doesn't sit. I mean, he runs it all the time. It's just the problem that they're having, and it's not just GM. It's Ford's having trouble with their Godzilla motors, their 7.3s, and Chrysler has problems with their Hemis. all the manufacturers, whoever's making the lifters for the manufacturers are having issues with them, and it has to do with the heat treating process, I believe. Some of them you get that are too soft. Rollers are too soft, and they delaminate, and once that happens, it'll flat tear everything up. Because the idea of a roller cam is it's supposed to roll across the cam, and if it doesn't roll anymore, it just tears the cam up. So no, Brian, on something like this, they want you to repair it, because believe it or not, them 5.3s are warranty cost, I think, are something stupid like $6,000. Put a cam and lifters in it with some gaskets on it that is a heck of a lot cheaper. So yeah, we don't. They've got enough problems with the 5.3s and the 6.2s dropping right now anyway. A lot of the 6.2s are failing. I've never seen so much problem with the drivetrains. Well, of course, a lot of stuff has changed in the last couple of years, ever since COVID and all that other stuff. Brian, I'm not sure, because I mean, I was out of the dealership from 2010 to 2018. Actually, wrenching on the dealership. That was the time when I had my own shop, and not necessarily before the DOD, because I'm going to tell you, I had a customer that had an '07 Silverado that was the old body style before they changed the body style, and he had a lifter chirping, and sure enough, you pulled it apart and it had just ground the lifter flat, and there wasn't much left of the lobe, and I ended up having to put a cam and lifters in that one. So it's not necessarily since they had DOD, but when they introduced the DOD, they also introduced a whole another slew of problems, and uh, they've had problems with them ever since. It all comes back to who can make the part the cheapest and to get away with it, and the quality of it. The quality of the stuff is just not there. Um, I was having a discussion with another tech on the GM technician fan page on Facebook, and the 10L1000s that they so-called say is an Allison, which it's not. They bought the name rights for Allison for that transmission, and I don't know how they got away with it, but it's not an Allison. But anyway, they're starting to show their ugly side of it, and they're failing quite a bit. And we were talking about the fact that the quality of the stuff is the reason why they went with the 10L1000. To me, that's GM's version of a heavy duty transmission. And although the theory and the design is good, the I think the parts build, the quality is not there. And seeing the failure points of that kind of stuff, I guarantee I wouldn't want a truck with one of those transmissions in it. I really don't care to have a diesel because of the cost of maintenance and how little I do it. And if I was going to be something working it all the time, because diesels like to be worked, they don't like to be mall crawlers. They like to be worked. And when you put around in a diesel like that, you just asking for issues. I mean, they like to be run. That's the way they're designed. And even the older diesels, in fact, my buddy Steve at work just got done doing an older body that the high pressure pump had failed on it. Of course, when that fails, it sends metal through the whole fuel system. So you have to replace everything in it. And you know that's a stupid amount of money. And a lot of it has to do with water getting in the fuel, and it'll just take out the rollers because the fuel is your lubrication. And if you get water in there, it causes things to rust and corrode, and it'll cause all sorts of damage. So, I'd rather have a gas, but in the same instance, they don't make the 8100 anymore. The replacement for it now is the 6.6 gas when that came out in 2020. Um, and it's over 400 horse, but it doesn't have the same torque a big block has. And big blocks are fantastic for towing. But you can get a 10 speed behind the 6.6 liter now, which the 6 liter before that, or the 6.2 or whatever it was that they were putting in them, you got a 6L90. So I'd rather keep my old O2 Silverado that I've named Bertha because it has the 8100 in it with the Allison 5 speed. And it's a good combination. I'm going to tell you, I love the truck. I need the poor body's falling apart on it. And the Florida sun doesn't help none down here either. I mean, it just beats the crap out of finishes on cars. So Mike, I haven't picked up the body yet. It's still down there at my buddy's. The painter, I've got to get my two-wheeler sold to be able to fund that job because that's going to be a huge undertaking for me. Is that what I plan on doing? Is I plan on picking up another frame if I can find one, and of course make sure it's straight, and then I'm going to have the whole thing blasted and powder coated so it looks almost like brand new so I can get another 20 years out of this dude, and then I'll start building it from there. um, but it's going to take some time, um, and time is not on my side, between trying to do everything I can to make ends meet and just trying to get through life. Yeah, I follow Tolman. I've followed him ever since he was on the power block. But yeah, um, he's got a nasty freaking big block that he's getting ready to put together for that thing. I'm anxious to see how that turns out. And he bought himself a shop and they moved to Colorado. Um, I think that's just cool as all get out. If I was a little closer to it, I'd be knocking on his doors and say, "Hey, look, hey, you need an old fart that still likes to work on stuff and build things, but it's a little bit of a drive." So that wouldn't work for me. Um, Although I'd love to be able to have that kind of an opportunity. I don't. I wish I did. There's too much at stake right now to take that on that kind of a ride. Hey, Doc. How are you? Yeah, Brian. LT's a good guy. Like I said, I followed him ever since he was on Power Block, doing the trucks on Power Block. So I've watched him for quite some time. And when I found his YouTube channel, it was pretty cool. Um, in fact, there was something I emailed him one time and asked him a couple of questions, and he got back with me. I thought it was pretty cool. Doc, I'm doing about as well as I can be expected anyway. I worked today, and it was my Saturday to work. So I got a 4L70 out there in the shop. I got to finish up tomorrow, so I can get it back to the dude on Monday, and then wife's new car, Ruby. Um, Gas gauge is acting up on it. And I was talking to my buddy from work, and he said, I told him what it had, and it had a P2068, which is a secondary fuel level sensor high voltage. And what happens is I don't know if you all know about the GM trucks and all the problems they had with the fuel level sensors, where you'd be going down the road and that thing would just go right to empty and turn on the check engine light. Well, that's exactly what this thing is doing. And I got to do some testing on it Monday. Um, but I'm not going to be able to take her car in unless she brings it. Because I've got to take this transmission back up there, and I know that she won't want that in that. Well, I mean, I could drive the truck, I guess. It's full of wood. I need to unload it, but um, anyway, um, Brian, it really doesn't take. I mean, I guess it slows you down a little bit when you're filming everything because you got to kind of teach at the same instance. But what takes the most time to do is the editing part. I mean, because you have to sit here and you have to edit your dead space out, and um, for the most part, I mean, half the time you can't make everybody happy, and they're bitching about you taking so long to do something. And I'm just, I did that on one. I tried to, show the real McCoy and what it takes, and you know, I got blasted for that, but it is what it is. I mean, there's plenty of other channels. If you don't like mine, you go to another channel. I mean, that's no. Yes, I do, Brian. It's called. Um, oh crap! I can't think of the name of it. Video Pad. There's plenty of programs out there you can use. I'm gonna make sure that's right. Yeah, I've got a WavePad sound editor, which works pretty good. Yeah, Video Pad video editor, and it's put out by NCH Software, and they're actually out of Australia. But they get a whole mess of stuff that works, and it works well. Um, the program was, I want to say it was $59 or something like that. Um, and then if you catch it right and you pay attention to when they send you emails, you can do updates uh, without having to pay for it. If it's within a certain amount of time, you can get a free update. But there's been some bugs over the time that actually caused me a lot of grief there for a while, and it was locking up this computer. and I was getting paranoid. So I bought another portable hard drive, and I moved all my videos to it. And you know, because I still haven't got my other one built. Um, you know, I had probably I've probably got a terabyte and a half of videos, which I don't know if you know what a terabyte is, but it's like 1,000 gigabytes. If you know what a gigabyte is, then you'll get there. They get to be huge files. And when you do one in 1080p, it increases the file size. If you do one in 4K, it's astronomically huge file. Yeah, I lost count, Brian. I've got a few out there. Um, I'm so far behind on getting anything out though. I would love to get some time to get some out. It's just been stupid. You know, like I said, this month has been stupid expensive. It doesn't seem like I can catch a break. Had to buy. I bought a car this last month for the wife. I had to buy a refrigerator. Had to buy hay for the horse, and believe me, that's expensive. And then I just got hit with this tax bill that I got to have paid by the 15th. So, oh yeah, you know, some of these kids, you know, one of the, you know, like who was it that it's just a six, Gavin. He's a young kid, and of course he went all out and bought these fancy video equipment, and he's got a full-time editing crew, and I think he does it on the side too, or does it for other people. But I've heard from that he's kind of a prick on that deal. But you know, I don't know that for fact, but he. I mean, I guess there's people out there that could edit for you, but man, I can't afford it. You know, one guy I like to watch quite a bit is Legit Streetcars. He's out of Chicago. And of course, I like watching Hoovie's Garage and quite a few others. Um, Tavarish, I like watching him. Man, he's got some cool stuff he's built. It's cool stuff he's built. And, you know, he had a video a couple of about a month ago where he explained what happened, and you know, it's kind of nice to know that there's still real people that go through the same struggles as the rest of us. You know, some of them just put more of it online than you care to see. You know, Amelia Hartford's a good one. Mental illness is nothing to laugh about by any means, and it can happen to the people that, you know, a lot of times. And I can say this because I'm just as bad. Um, we're good at hiding that kind of stuff. Um, you know, there's bouts where I go through depression, and you know, I don't get as far as having suicidal tendencies or anything like that. I'm just, you know, there's some days that you just want to give up, and that's tough to deal with. Um, you know, when I was young, they actually had me on um, antidepressants. Um, and you know, when I was real young like that. And like I said, they did have me on antidepressants for a while, and it was Prozac. which was the common go-to back then. But yeah, there was times where I wanted to give up. It's tough. But I tell you what got me through, and that was just having faith in God, and that, you know, we'll get through this one way or the other. Brian, I used to follow John Dock. I got to the point where I couldn't stand his arrogance. He's pretty arrogant, some buck. So I just couldn't do it. You know, I followed him for a good long time, and like I said, I just couldn't deal with it anymore. I appreciate that, Mike. You know, a lot of it, like I said, is just, you know, keeping grounded. I try to keep grounded in my faith. You know, I'm not the perfect guy by any shape of imagination, but you know, I do my best to get through life, and I put on a smile when I you know, I like going to work and you know, trying to keep a smile on my face. And yeah, I struggle just like everybody else, but if you keep your mind occupied, you don't dwell on things as much, and you can just kind of motor through a lot of stuff. And so that's what I do. I try to keep my mind occupied, and of course that seems like to me I don't have enough time to do the things I want to do. But yeah, a lot of these guys that do this like that, they'll have a full-time editor. Um, you know, there's a lot to the YouTube thing because YouTube doesn't pay the bills. I mean, last year, and you know, I don't care if anybody knows, but last year I made $1,053 off of YouTube, um, which, and you get a 1099 on top of it because it's a royalty payment. So, uh, yeah, you end up paying on that. So it definitely doesn't pay the bills, and it's not really cost effective to do. I think I just do it because I enjoy it. Um, I just it, there was a time when I was so consumed with doing it that I wasn't getting anything else done. So I mean, this Saturday night gig, I do this basically for you guys. Um, you know, let you know that there is an average Joe out there just uh, you know, making use of social media, I guess. Brian, I actually use an yeah, I do use cell phone, but I use an old one. I don't use my main phone, um, just in case something would happen. Um, but I use old retired cell phones that'll record in 1080p, and I usually use a lapel mic put on there because the audio is a lot better. I don't have money to pay for one of those fancy cameras. I'm sure that would be pretty cool if I could do 4K, but um, I don't have the equipment to support that. Brian, I'm not sure what he's using. If he's using a Canon, like a lot of the guys use and gals, those can run uh, anywhere between 400 and 2 grand, depending on the model. I mean, they can be stupid money. Um, Cletus McFarlane started out and still uses GoPros, but they do a lot of stuff on their phones anymore. And then they've got a digital, looks like a camcorder that George uses in there a lot. So it just varies. I mean, pretty much anything that'll record video and audio is all you need. And yeah, you could use your own phone because you know the audio quality of those and the video quality anymore is good enough to pass. And you can do these videos directly to your phone or edit them off of your phone and then upload them, and you do everything that way. But um, I guess you wouldn't have much way to save the video if anything happened. And I guess that's where I probably at fault, is because I haven't deleted any of my videos that I've made from day one, and I keep the originals that are unedited, and I keep the ones that's been edited and been posted. Yeah, a lot of them got stability on it. In fact, um, even this phone, I'm pretty sure. Well, I know it. I know it does. It's a setting that you can set up. If you look up there at the top, there's a little. Well, yeah, it's kind of hard to see. Like there's an icon up there with a hand with squiggly marks on either side of it, and it will it keeps the video from shaking. Um, it's a little smoother. They've also got some really nice camera mounts that get like the gyro built into it, and you could be super smooth with it. They get all sorts of um, props and that kind of stuff. Just really fancy. Depends on how far you want to go. Yeah, Mike, they are kind of expensive. I don't know what the GoPros are going for now, but I mean they were stupid money before the inflation came out. And let's see what see what it says here. Well, they're not bad. GoPro Hero 9 is $300. That's actually a really good price. And it's got stabilization on it. Damn, that's a 9. Okay, so that's an old one. Here's an 11. Uh, here's an 11. It's 550 or $450. So yeah, they've gone up. Well, let's see. I guess that one had a screen on it. I guess you can get them without screen. They're called minis. Those are 350. But even you can get a used one, like a GoPro 8 or something like that. They got 282, and I'm looking on Amazon right now. So they're out there. Here's a Hero 9 for $299. That's got a front facing screen too, so you can see yourself, because uh, they use fisheye lens on them, so it makes it so we get all your pictures in there. This mic here, Brian. This one here is a I don't know. It was one that I got. It's a Fifine, is what it is. They make different ones. A lot of your mics that you use, a good one, Rode mics. Those are really good. My lapel mic that I use to record the videos on is Movo, Movo. They actually have a page and everything, and they've got all sorts of different mics. I'm about due to replace mine. The ones that I've got, the ones that I use for recording, they run off of AA batteries. There's one battery in each, the transmitter and the receiver. The problem is the batteries don't last very long, and if you don't pay attention to it, and kind of keep track of your time that you use with that deal, that dude will go dead in the middle of recording, and then you'll just have nothing but silence. So yeah, this one got pretty good reviews, and there is a dial on the front of it. You can turn it up and down. It wasn't real expensive. It comes on this mount. Well, it's part of it. You buy the mount separate, but it's USB. So, and then the camera that I use is one that was sent as part of a package. Because one of my monitors has got a webcam on it, but it's not as good a picture as this one is. Because I knew I had to do something different with the picture. Plus, this one it's got a slide on it, so you can actually cut the video off. So if somebody decides to log into it, they're not going to be able to see anything. It's also got a built-in microphone too, but this one works better. Mike, the Movo mics that I use to record is, yes, they're cordless. Well, sort of, kind of. They've got a cord that plugs into the phone, and then the transmitter goes on top of the pod. Well, let me just show you. All right, this is my contraption that I use, and this is part of a mount kit, and it's also made by Movo. I know that's backwards to you guys, but this is the transmitter for the mic, and of course the batteries. That the other thing I noticed there, that means it's ready to receive a signal. So if you turn on the other half of it, this is the receiver, and usually what happens is if these things sit for a period of time, the battery will go dead in it, even though you get it turned off. There it goes. All right. Well, it did come on. Yeah, it's dead. But anyway, but yeah, this is an old Samsung phone. I don't remember which one it is, but it works pretty good. And then, of course, the lapel mic goes on. You can put this just about anywhere and just clip the lapel mic on, and that's how it records. But it's made by Movo. But they make some better ones that are rechargeable, and that's what I'd like to get, is some rechargeable ones. Because, man, you go through some batteries. Mike, they make Bluetooth versions of those too, where you can Bluetooth it to your phone, and it'll work that way. Yeah, my A51 Samsung is one of the last ones that has a mic jack or headphone jack in the bottom of it. You can use it for microphone too. My wife's A53 does not have a jack in it. They did away with it. Hey, Steven, what's happening? Yeah, I seen you pop up on here, Steven. Now I just keep thinking of hot dogs. I know that's bad, but what really sounds good is a chili cheese dog right about now. That's the last thing I need, but it sure sounds good. But yeah, then once the video is recorded, then all I got to do is upload it to the computer, and then I pull the files and edit them. I went to 5 o'clock. Yeah, I have no idea, Brian. To be honest with you, I've got a couple in the phone. I've still got the last part of this last build that I've done that I haven't finished editing. I haven't had a chance to sit down and do any of that. Because I got some other stuff I want to get started on, but I managed to pick up another transmission job. I got an 02 Tahoe that needs a transmission overhauled on, so I'm not going to record that one. I'm just going to get it done. That's 4L60. It says it's just flat wore out, so I'm going to make it new again for him. But I still got that Ecotech I want to do. I've been pretty good, Stephen. Been hanging in there, doing the best I can. You know, we got such a great things to look forward to, if you know what I mean. I'm not going to get into it anymore, but just put a smile on my face and keep right on going. Got check engine light came on wife's Ruby, the 2020 Equinox that we bought, and the gas gauge goes to empty. So I'm betting it needs a fuel level sender, but apparently when you get an all-wheel drive version, it has 2 fuel senders in it. Has a primary and a secondary, and it's setting a code for, excuse me, high voltage on the secondary side. So I've got to check that out first of the week and find out what's going on, find out who's texting me. Oh, it's a group chat. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I don't think he ever sent me an email either. Let me blaze over here and we'll see if he did. I don't think he did. Oh, wow, there's 6 of them in spam. Well, I'm getting all these oddball ones in my spam folder. Somehow I got on a stupid mailing list. I can't stand that. I mean, you can't hardly click on anything anymore uh, without getting on something stupid flipping mailing list. Uh, I've got my original, um, one of my original email addresses. That is not spam. One of my original email addresses, I was sitting here in the house the other night, and my tablet is set up for um, that email address. And I kid you not, that thing was going off like every 5 minutes. There'd be another stinking email come in. And I know it's all junk. I mean, it gets overwhelmed with freaking junk mail. Mood poisoning. Yeah, Brad, I'm the same way. I think he probably did break the pump, but um, never heard anything else. And like I said, I just checked my email and he didn't send me anything. Brian, yes, but even the the machinist, when I have my pumps machine, I have Chicago Trans do them, and they do such a good job. But when they machine them, they machine, if they have to machine the pocket, they'll machine the facing the same amount, so it gets the right clearance on the pump. So the rotor kit, 9 times out of 10 is going to be the same either way. That depth's not going to change that much. I mean, just maybe the little bit of it that's been machined, but that should be it. I mean, I don't think that little bit's going to make a hill of beans. I mean, it's not like you're taking 20 thousandths out of it to smooth it out. You know, half the time it's pretty minuscule. Well, that's why you measure it. You know, if you get it, like when you do a 6L80, which the pumps are almost identical on those. In fact, I think they use the same parts. But when you get a 6L80, you have to measure the clearance on the rotor and the slide kit when you put those together. That it tells you that right in the GM manual for that too. But there's 3 different sizes of kits that you get when you build one of those, and 9 times out of 10 when I build one, I'll get the second set, the number 2 kit, and usually it'll get my clearance with where I need to go. But I mean, if it's too loose, then you can get a little bit thicker one. And if it's too tight, then you go the other way. But like I said, 9 times out of 10, you get number 2 kit, and you're usually golden. And I think the tightest it can be is 15 10 thousandths, which is 0.0015. Is about the tightest you can be. And you can be, I think, up to 2 thousandths, 0.002. So, you know, I tell you that, and I'm drawing a blank. That doesn't sound right. I'm gonna look it up here. Survey says, ooh, that ain't gonna work. Probably fat fingered it. Nope. All right. Let's pick like a 15 Silverado. Yeah. Transmission 6L80 specifications. Pump selective here we go. Pump selective specifications. Okay, so the pump slide can be 0.002 to that's a millimeter. Okay, so inches, the pump slide can be 0.0008 to 0.002 clearance. So I didn't tell you right as far as tightness. So they can go all the way down to 8 10 thousandths. And the rotor's the same. So like I said, they've got 2 different kits, you know, and they tell you to use plastic gauge to measure it. Oh, absolutely. That's why the custom transmissions I build take as long as they do, because I mean, when you put the thing together, you have to check everything, because you got aftermarket parts in it and the clearances aren't the same. That's just like this one that had the 3/4 clutch burn up in it that I did not long ago. I still think he's got a bad PCM, but nonetheless, um, I had to use a different set of clutches to get him a good clutch pack in it, and I had to use a different top plate, selective plate, and I used different steels with high energy fibers. It gave me a 7 clutch pack setup. But if you use the regular backing plate, it's too tight. You got to have like 30 thousandths to 70 thousandths clearance or something weird like that. But anyway, I ended up with like 45 thousandths clearance, which I'm happy with that. It's got enough play in it. So what's up, Ice? One of the reasons I started as a body man. Yeah, I I don't have the finesse in the body. I'd like to learn how to correctly polish a car with a mechanical buffer. Um, Ruby, uh, the technical name for the paint color on that is Cajun Red Tint Coat, and it's a beautiful color, especially when it's clean. But it needs to be polished. Um, I want to polish it, and then I want to put this hybrid ceramic wax on it, or have it ceramic coated, one of the two. I don't have the stuff here to do it, but I've got the hybrid ceramic wax, and I put some of that on the Honda. I think it was a McGuire's product, and it looks like highlighter yellow in a bottle. But I'm going to tell you, that stuff is just neater than all get out, and it works good. That freaking Honda, if you get a bug on the front of it, it just falls right off almost. Almost. I mean, you gotta wipe it off, but it doesn't stick near as bad, and it seems to hold up well. I know when I did that. Um, Shoot, I was up there at Mom's place when I was um, watching her after she tried to play Superwoman, and I had cleaned up the Honda and clay barred it, got a bunch of junk off the hood, and then put this hybrid ceramic wax on it. And man, that stuff has just worked great. I'm so tickled with it. Brian, yeah, the clutches will seat in a little bit, but not enough that it's going to hurt anything. I mean, I haven't seen much shrinkage on these things, and I always pre-soak my clutches. So the measure that I take is before I soak them, and I always soak my clutches, always. Um, so it'll be okay. Um, I've put packs together that are looser than that before, and it's been fine. I like to have them a little bit on the tighter side for shift timing. Um, but that thing was that check ball and the 3/4 was jacked up anyway, and that was part of the reason why that clutch failed, and that was something that was sent in the Fairbanks kit. Clearance. Got to have some clearance. But yeah, when I tore this thing down, everything else was perfect on it. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better wear pattern on the band. The forward clutches looked perfect. The overruns were perfect. I didn't tear it down to the low reverse because I'm not worried about those. Just little stuff. I mean, I'll fix the mechanical part of it, and then we need to double check when I get this thing back in. We're going to run another line pressure test on it, make sure that the line pressure can be controlled. Because if it can't be controlled, then that transmission won't survive. Not on 80 psi, which is what it had when before we took it out. That's all it had is 80 psi. So no, Brian, there's been a lot of guys that build them dry, and I'm one of those guys where I'd rather pre-soak them anyway before they get put to any stress. To me, I think I mean, don't get me wrong. When you start the thing up, it's going to have oil, all over the thing, and um, I guess it's kind of like you don't put together a new engine dry. That's kind of where that comes from. I mean, you wouldn't put a set of bearings in an engine rod and mains and cam bearing with no lube on it, because even though you might prime the oiling system, you may not get where you need to go with it, and it's not going to build enough oil pressure quick enough to protect those metal parts. So that's kind of my theory on it is, make sure it's lubed up, but it's not completely dry. In fact, there'll be a lot of times that I'll soak a planetary set too. I won't soak it, but I mean I'll get fluid through the planets and everything else, so it's not dry, even though it's like I said, it's going to have fluid pressure to it as soon as you fire the thing up. There's always that chance. I'd rather kind of prevent the possibility. Hello, Jerry. Well, you're correct. I mean, when it's in park, nothing is applied. Um, there might be a clutch that's holding in park or something like that. Um, Here, let's see what pride. Now, see here's a prime example on the 6L80. When it's in park, the low reverse clutch is applied. Now, granted, it doesn't have any load on it, but the low reverse clutch is applied. Um, let's see if it says the same thing for. Um, let's say 2008 Silverado transmission 1260. That's not what I wanted. I can't remember where it is on. There it is. It's under specifications. Okay, on a 4L60, when it is in park, the low reverse clutch is applied. And it actually has load on it. It doesn't say it's that's kind of weird. I wonder why it does that, because in neutral, nothing's applied. That's interesting. I wonder if they do that for pre-staging. Um, so it's not got too harsh of a deal going on, because when you put it in reverse, the only thing it acts as a reverse input clutch. So you got the low reverse clutch is still applied from park, and you just add the reverse input clutch. I bet they do that for to slow that park pull down, maybe. But yeah, according to this range reference, in park, the low reverse clutch is applied. That doesn't say it doesn't have a load on it. It just says applied. Um, yeah, interesting. Yeah. Well, Mike, I'm one of those guys that I'll just put some lube on the outside, but I won't pre-soak them usually on the lifter deal. I'll usually just put some lube on the outside of the body and on the roller or the bottom of it, and I'll let them build up with oil pressure that way. And Brian, yeah, it would be different if you only put 6 quarts in. Well, Jerry, you're going to have to stay tuned, because I am going to go through one eventually on the channel. So, Brian, what do you mean by double clutch trans? Are you meaning more than one clutch is applied at one time? Is that what you're saying? Okay. Technically, a 4L60 is a double clutch also, um, except when it's in first gear. First gear, I need to send you this range reference. This is some good info, but like in first gear, when you're just put it in overdrive first gear, uh, the forward clutch is applied, your forward sprag is holding, and your low roller clutch is holding. The low reverse is not applied because it's not in manual. Second gear, the 2/4 band applies, your forward clutch is applied, and your forward sprag is holding. Third gear, just your forward clutch. Your forward clutch is applied, your forward sprag is holding, and your 3/4 clutch is applied. So, most likely, you've got two clutches in. Obviously, the forward, I guess the forward would be, the forward would be kind of considered like the 1, 2, 3, 4 clutch in a 6L80. And then fourth gear, you have the 2/4 band applied, your forward clutch, and your 3/4 clutch. So there's multiple clutches applied in every gear except for first gear as far as clutches are concerned. Let me do this. This would be good. This would be good for you to look at anyway. Let me do this. I think I can do this. Hang on a minute. It's kind of neat to see. Okay, let's do save. 4L60. Let's do that. All right, now let's go back to the 15. Drifts. In theory, it's pretty much the same. I mean, it's really cool. Brian, you'll have to look at these, and I'll send these over the link here. But you only need to save that one. Custom one page one. Save. 6L80. And of course, all you guys can look at these if you want. Oh, I don't think I spelled that right. R-E-N-C. For some reason, R-E-F-E. I don't think I spelled that right, but that's all right. All right. Let's try. Go to documents. What if I went to documents or downloads? What documents? I don't know if this is going to work, guys, so we'll try it here. Paste. I wonder if I have to send it as a I wonder if I have to send it as a web page. I don't like it doing it that way. Yeah, apparently you can't do it that way. Well, anyway, um, if you want to look at those, Brian, if you give me your email address, I'll send them to you. But I know what you're saying. Um, the 6L80 is just it is a double clutch, but in theory, so is the 4L60. They use more than one clutch to get the job done. It's just that on the on a 6L80, there's just a few more clutches. But like I said, if you want me to send them to you, I can do that. How do you how do you figure it's got two overdrives? I'm kind of curious to that one. Because it technically only has one. His third gear is a 1-to-1 ratio on a 4L60. So it would actually be a 3-speed with an overdrive. Um, his overdrive on a 4L60 is 0.7 to 1, I do believe. Fourth is 1 to 1. Now on a 6L80, uh, on a 6L80, there is no 1-to-1 on the 6L80. Fifth gear is the closest to a 1-to-1, but I think it's like 106 to 1 or something like that. It's not a true 1-to-1. That's just the way they built that one. Um, the 8L90, um, can't remember which one that is on 8L90. Um, but one of them there is a, let me see if I can find that. Transmission 8L90. Nope, not going to be there. Must be under specifications. There we go. All right. So On an 8L90, there's 2 overdrives. So sixth gear is an actual true 1-to-1. First gear on an 8L90 is a whopping 4.62 to 1. So it has an extra first gear where, like, a 700 is 308 to 1 on the first gear ratio. That's second gear on a 8L90. And like I said, sixth gear is 1-to-1 on an 8L90. Um, and then you get a 0.85 and a 0.66. Man, I can't wait to get that. That's going to be freaking killer in the Camaro. I got that 8L45 with that turbo motor. Man, I can't wait to do that. That's going to be awesome. Have an 8-speed run. You actually run a 373 or even run a 410 if you wanted to in that dude. Double overdrive like that. Talk about something that would get off the line in a hurry. Oh. Yeah, I don't know why I get so excited about transmission stuff. I just love it. I mean, I just think it's just something cool that, I mean, I think it's neat how everything goes together and it all works. You know, it's between hydraulically and gear reduction and all that other stuff. It's cool stuff to me. Well, I guess if you wanted to look at it that way, I get what you're saying. You talking about the ratios on a 4L60? Because I can tell you what the ratios are on 4L60 if that's what you're after. 2008. Yeah, you. What are you doing, turd mongrel? You are 100% correct. It has to do with how they use the gear reduction on fart knocker. Um, the ratios for the 700 or the 4L60, either one you want to look at. 3059 to 1 as first gear, 1625 for second gear. Third gear is 1-to-1, and fourth gear is 0.696 overdrive. Oh, transmission wet weight, 218 pounds. Maximum trailer towing capacity, 13,500 pounds. Maximum gross weight rating, 8,600 pounds. pretty wild. Made in Toledo, Ohio. Yeah, Mike, the Saginaw, the old Saginaw 3 speeds are those are gravy. Those are real easy to do. You know, it's funny. I did I had to do a virtual training class here this last week, and we went around and we have to use microphones now in the classroom, and we went around and introduced everybody, and they one of the guys go, I do, this is what I want to learn and stuff like that. And we were doing one on the most network diagnosis and troubleshooting, which most network is media oriented, um, something, something, but it's media oriented. In other words, it's part of the infotainment systems. Anyway, he says, yeah, I do everything except for diesel and transmissions. And it cracks me up because I guess I take it for granted, but there's a lot of people that don't care to do transmissions at all. Uh, and within reality, I understand that because warranty time on transmission repair is not adequate by a long ways. Um, but it's what they do. Yeah, that's for sure, Mike. I mean, you got to do them just like there was when I had my shop. I actually did a Ice and Warner 4-speed out of an Isuzu box truck. First one of those I'd ever done. I'm going to tell you that was a neat transmission the way it was put together. It was kind of troublesome, but it was pretty cool how it was made. Well, fellers, I'm going to call it a night. Uh, I've been gabbing an hour and a half on here tonight, but I really appreciate y'all coming in and joining in. I wish I could get some more of you out here to visit, but I understand. Um, Stephen, thanks for coming in. Um, I appreciate y'all. I really do. And we got another week of surprises, I'm sure, coming with everything going on out there in the world. So y'all keep your heads up high, keep smiling. Um, Make sure to take care of yourself and each other. And we'll see you in the next one. God bless you and God bless America. Bye bye.